Welcome to this episode of Chattin With Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Billy Rivers.
I ended up with 2 second-degree murders, the RICO Act, transporting illegals, and a whole list of other crap.
So can you explain, the bullets start flying and what transpires? Like, do you crash the van? Like, walk me through exactly what happened.
I'm in the left lane in interstate, okay? And when they started shooting, I went off into the big median. And there's a film that shows this. There's a film that's been made about my life that shows the shooting. When I got the van stopped, the only thing I could think about, my windshield's busted out, there's holes all through the van, and 2 kids and the rest of the grown-ups. And when I got the van stopped, all I could do was think about getting the back and cover these 2 children. So I got the van stopped, come in between the seats and jumped in the back, and I laid on the 2 kids. And immediately I felt real warm. And I looked, and that was these 2 children's blood on me.
Wow.
They had been shot in the back through the back door by federal authorities.
Now, are the people in the van screaming? Like, what?
Positively. Yeah, glass flying, bullets flying through. My windshield done busted out with bullet holes and all kind of crazy.
Are they yelling at you guys through a bullhorn? Like,
No.
so how long does the shooting go on for?
I'd say probably about 6-7 minutes before I could get off into the median, off of 10 West, into the median and get stopped. Once the van stopped, then they all jumped out of their cars with every kind of gun that you can think of. And I'm laying on the 2 children in the back. They bust the doors open, drag me out, and then they look and see the 2 dead children. And they said, uh-oh. I said, yeah, uh-oh.
Because they know they messed up big time.
Well, I ended up with 2 second-degree murders, the RICO Act, transporting illegals, and was sentenced to 165 years.
When they drag you out of the van, what are they telling you? Are they put you in handcuffs right away, right? Do they throw you in the car?
They drug me out the back doors of the van, handcuffed me real fast, and they done, I'm on the ground. They knocking me all around. Throw handcuffs on me. Well, they put me in the back of one of the cars. And then they start looking at the other people there that was in the van.
And do they handcuff all them too?
The 2 dead children that I was laying on. Yeah.
Do they handcuff all the people in the van?
I never got to see that, Bill. I can't answer that because they put me in a vehicle that fast. They wanted to eliminate their problem, and the problem was me.
Yeah.
And I got to say one thing, they're pretty damn good at what they do. Even though I don't really like them. All you feds out there, you screwed up, boys.
Are you shocked when you get to the police department and they tell you they're charging you with the murder of these kids? Are
2
you
second-degree murders.
Yeah.
RICO Act, organized crime affiliation, transporting illegals. They read off a lot of charges. And I told them, just kiss my ass, man. Bring me breakfast. Kiss my ass, you bastards.
Do you plead not guilty, and do you go to trial?
Of course, I pled not guilty. And then they said trial. Well, about 21 months later, they come in and brought me to sentencing in front of a federal judge, and he sentenced me to 100 in 65 years. And I told him, I said, I wasn't the one that shot these babies. You had these babies shot. You the guilty one. And so I ended up in Carson City, Nevada, federal penitentiary, on death row for 8 years.
Now, what was your time like in
Funny.
jail before you get sentenced? What was your time like in jail before you get sentenced to the time?
Well, the typical county jails, in a county jail, you got federal inmates, you got state inmates, and, juveniles, whatever. No problem whatsoever. Well, in the system, if you get sentenced and go to the penitentiary, you have a paper trail that follows you. Well, this is where things went really my way. So one of the convicts, he's helping the clerk process all my paperwork and everything. And he's seen armed dangerous Hell's Angel. Well, word got down the block. When it come time for me to get my mattress and stuff like this and go to the cell, it's, in the penitentiary, people are, oh, I'll make you mine, whatever. I never heard one of these words. All I heard about 5 times, angel on the block, angel on the block. And I'm saying, what? They already knew a nomad Hell's Angel on the block. Never had any problem. I slapped a couple dudes for just being little bitches, but never had no problem or anything like that,
Yeah.
And so, Bill, 11 years later, the captain, lieutenant, and the K9 unit come down to my cell and said, get in your cell, back up, we're going to handcuff you. All right, no problem. They do that if you're bringing you to the doctor or dentist or whatever, So they brought me to the warden's office. And I'm saying, this is freaking weird, man. You're going to see the warden. Why in the world am I going to see the warden?
You've never seen him before, right?
I knew he was a biker. I had seen him and, walking the block and hallways, different things like this.
But not like this, not like brought to his office.
So I walk in there and I got the prettiest jewelry on, man, handcuffs with leather belts, shackles on my feet, and walk in the warden's office. And he said, Billy, let me back up. First thing he did was told his captain, you take all that jewelry off of him. And I'm saying, what in the world's going on here? He looked at me and he said, the highest Supreme Court in the United States, which is the Black Robe justices, anytime that you have a case with over 60 years federal, the Supreme Court gets it, they can turn it into execution or a life sentence. And so all this time, I'm sitting on death row with 165 years. So I looked at the warden and I said, so you mean to tell me they took my 165 years and turned it into death? He said, oh, no, Billy. He said, I'm sending you home. Well, that confused me. And I said, so y'all, you're going to send me home, so you're going to execute me, right? Now I have the actual death penalty. He said, no, He said, I'm putting you on Greyhound bus. Where do you want to go? I said, Greyhound bus. I said, what the hell are you talking about? He said, the highest Supreme Court in the land has found you innocent. You're innocent of the RICO Act because, see, the Fed, they had pictures of me with the patch. They had pictures of me like this, but they never had a picture of me looking sideways with the patch in my face. So the RICO Act disappeared. 11 years later, they put me on a Greyhound bus from Carson City, Nevada to New Orleans, Louisiana, and gave me enough money for one hot dog and one Coca-Cola for a 4-day trip. That's cold-blooded, man.
Yeah.
That is messed up. Hell, they could have bought me a pack of hot dogs for the trip.
Well, you didn't care, right?
I didn't care. Yeah.
Now, what's it like to step outside of a prison after doing that much time?
Well, on the Greyhound bus was really different, but I handled it. But where I had my breakdown, once I got to my parents' house, my mom wanted to bring me because I play music, wanted to bring me and it was about Christmas time, and get a stereo. So I could start back, which my mother was a music lady. She sang and different things. And I got out of the car at Walmart in Gulfport, Mississippi with my mom and dad. And when we walked through them double doors into Walmart and I seen that big open ceiling and all these people, I told mom and dad, I said, get me back to the damn car. Get me there now. I almost freaked out because I hadn't been around people. I hadn't been in big open areas. Hell, my cell had a window like 12 by 12. And if you look at it, all you see is trees, you know. And for me to walk into like a Walmart, I said, oh, heck, get me back. Bring me to the car, Mama.
You're used to being in a little closet, basically.
Yeah. Little cinder block closet.
When you get out, do you get back in touch with the angels?
Well, I had to. I had to make a decision. And my dad knew it. My dad come, he said, sit down, son. He said, I need to talk to you. I said, okay, Dad. So my daddy asked me, he said, I know you have a decision to make. And I said, yeah, I do. He said, what's your decision going to be, Billy?